Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey people, today we're going to take a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Forlorn. It's from designer and creator Simon Lacey. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. You will find the link for that up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section of this video underneath me. Those links will take you to the page, find out more information than I could possibly tell you here, and hopefully you'll consider backing the project. Now, thematically, what Forlorn is about is very sort of dark, gritty game where there's like this island or Galapagos of islands where, can you be a Galapagos of something? Probably. Where a bunch of people have been shipwrecked and stranded. They come from all different areas of the ocean, different surroundings, and they get there and they're just like disoriented and confused, and they don't know what to do. But then they find that as they try to survive there, as they try to scrounge for supplies, scrounge for food, and start drinking the water of the area, it changes them. They become more bloodthirsty. They become paranoid. They become, territorial. They want to cling to the parcel of land they've claimed for themselves and fight off the other people who continue to conglomerate there onto the island. The islanders, as they are called themselves. So what this translates into as a board game is a arena combat game with a lot of different options. Could be free for all, everyone takes everyone else out. Could be a team game. Could be a game that capture the flag in, or lots of different ways, King of the Hill, things like that. Just lots of different game modes and ways for you to customize your own game. So, of course, that might be a little bit confusing, so let me go ahead and give you a brief look at how the game is played with a prototype version of the game. I want to stress that, so what you see here may not be what the final version looks like. Go to the Kickstarter project page and find out more information on that. But then we're going to come back. I'll give you my final thoughts.
Forlorn is a competitive battle arena game for 2 to 8 players. It can be played in teams or in free-for-all mode, and there are several different game modes with different goals for the players. For instance, a simple last man standing mode has you trying to eliminate all other survivors or other teams. But there are also Capture the Flagon and King of the Hill modes. Certain modes might enable access of special characters like sailors and team captains. Across all modes, you can keep track of points for succeeding at achievements like grabbing the objective or killing certain characters, etc. There are 2 different maps in the game, either the river map or the sea map. Once you've chosen, lay it out and then choose Islanders, which are the characters in the game. You can do this randomly or via a draft, but you must first determine how many Islanders you'll need, which is going to change based on the game mode and the number of players. There are many Islanders in the game to choose from, so unfortunately I can't dawdle on every single one. You'll use trackers on the Islanders to keep track of health and brine, which is a resource you use for your abilities. Each player has different stats for actions, health, attack, movement, and charge attacks, which is moving a certain amount of squares and then attacking. Each Islander also has special abilities. These could just be always on, or they're going to be activated with actions and possibly by spending brine. Things like summoning the dead or creating copies of yourself, powerful ranged attacks, avoiding difficult terrain, and so on. A token representing each Islander is placed on the board according to the placement rules for the game mode. Your character sheet will tell you which token is yours. When it's your turn in Forlorn, you will activate each of the Islanders on your team before passing to the next player. You use any or all of the allotted actions that each of your characters gets, and you can double up on actions as well. Here's some of the basic actions. Attacking means simply being adjacent to an opponent Islander and dealing your damage rating to that opponent's character. Movement lets you move your entire speed, but you can't stop, fight, and then continue to keep moving. You take a move action, and if you do something else, that move action has ended. Charging, as I said before, lets you move a few tiles and then attack for a different amount of damage, depending on which character you have. Sometimes characters will have armor, which can shave damage off of attacks, and almost all Islanders lose an action if their health gets too low. Just some things to keep in mind. The terrain in Forlorn is important to know in the game. Gravel, which is gray, requires an extra movement to get over. Black rocks are impassable terrain to everyone, and the dots on the map are used in very particular circumstances. Water spaces will allow you to gain more brine. Now, in any of these cases, especially with black rocks and with water spaces, your line of sight might be affected. This is very important when determining whether or not you can target your opponents with special abilities. Essentially, in Forlorn, you and your fellow players will continue taking rounds of gameplay until one of you has met the team challenge, whether that's last man standing, capturing the flag, and so on and so forth. Or maybe it's just a free-for-all where everyone is trying to take each other out. But regardless of that, whoever has the most points over several games is the winner of Forlorn. Now, let's get to my final thoughts.
Now, as I stressed in the intro to this video, I think the most interesting aspect of Forlorn and what most people are going to gravitate towards is that it is not just a simple, okay, here's a game, here's how we play it the same way every single time. It's taking a system and giving you many different options that are right in the box, or options for you to play the game because it is such a free-form sandbox type system, where you have a ton of options and lots of different ways that you can actually use those options. So, do you just want to fight? Do you just want to do a free-for-all where everyone's trying to take each other out, or one team is trying to take out the other team? You can do that. You can play with a lot of players in this game too, which also opens it up quite a bit. You can play King of the Hill, you can play Capture the Flag, and you can do all of these different things that you want to do. There's different options that you have. You can use the taking out the enemy captains with the different unique captain adventurer or islander cards that you have. Also going up the river or manipulating the sea map where you have the sailors that each of the teams can use or the players can use. You just have so many different things that you can do. And I can't stress enough how many characters there are in the game, how many islanders there are for you to choose from, either deterministically or through a draft, which is another interesting way that you can cater the game to however your game group would prefer to play. But there's so many characters that I would defy you, I guess, to get bored with the different amount of character abilities and how different they are, since every one of them has a different special ability. And that just gives you, and theme to them as well, and appearance and personality and whatever you want to bring to it. But they're so different that you will not get bored going through all these different ones. And then together with the different variety of how you can play the game, while at the same time, the basic rules of the game, as hopefully came across there, while they lend themselves to depth as opposed, together with all the different game modes, it's relatively straightforward and very easy to learn. So you have these actions that you can do every turn. You use these actions, attack, charge, move, use your special abilities. You have the brine as a resource. All these different things, while altogether it might be like, okay, I got to take a minute to learn this, they're actually relatively simple and straightforward, and that is to the game's benefit. So I think the casual gamers and more experienced gamers are going to be able to jump right into this one, and even casual gamers will pick it up very quickly, which I think is very important in game groups nowadays. And when you take into account the very dark and gritty theme, that is going to appeal to a lot of people who want just something different, something different than the usual standard fare that we have for board games, or something that's just, an arena game that may be generic fantasy based. This one is going to scratch that itch a bit more for those people. So if you fall into any of those categories, if Forlorn sounds like something that interests you in any way, shape, or form, you should definitely go to the official Kickstarter project page and find out even more information than I could tell you here. There's going to be a link up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Go there, find out more, and hopefully consider backing the project. That is Forlorn from designer and creator Simon Lacey. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.